So with Iran and US at war, we have now what? 3 active world wars going in the world. Think about it. War brings a lot of instability. Instability brings recession. Now, I'm not saying this. I'm sure you've heard the BlackRocks and the Morgan speaking about this. In fact, I think it was yesterday only that Larry Fink, who manages what? $13 trillion under asset, the biggest asset managers of the world. This guy suggested that there is a 30% chance that US would fail. US would get into recession. But where does that put you? That puts you and your family in a massive risk. Again, it's not just about you. It's about your kids, your parents, your loved ones. Everyone comes into this risk because of the world war that's happening out there, which gives you 3 options in a way. Number 1 being you wait. You just simply watch it out and see what's happening. That could be your choice. The second could be to hoard cash, because cash could become the king. But JP Morgan also suggested, I think day before yesterday, that for next 3 years, the oil prices could stay above $100. Now, we all know what could that mean for us, which means the first 2 strategies might not be the best strategy. Wherein the third strategy has to be making more money to become recession proof, to actually generate alternate cash engine. That should be the goal, to make sure that our family does not suffer from the consequences of world war. So if you're someone who'd want to learn that, or if you're someone who's intrigued by it, well, this video is for you. If at all, you're someone who's a non-digital native, you're someone who's, let's say, in the mid-30s, someone who's not been born on Instagram, someone who's too confused with so many questions that, hey, how do I start? Hey, what do people tell me? What do people think about me? What do I create about? I have so many things. I don't know. There are young people who do this day in, day out. How would I do? I am not of the same age. Or most importantly, how much energy should I put into it? I've already started. Should I put in more time, energy, money, whatnot? And most importantly, is it too late? Because isn't the market already saturated? Well, I'm going to answer these questions, all of these things for you, and primarily divide the video in 4 segments. Number 1 being, we'll detail out the risk in front of us so that you understand the importance of this. Second, we try to lay down the opportunity that despite the risks, because this is not a fear-mongering video, this is about helping us understand the importance of it and then understanding what opportunity has this risk presented for us. Number 3, moving on to limiting belief. All these questions that we keep saying to ourselves, if you think about it, ultimately our risk-reward ratio ke through, when we map it out, at the end of the day, creating personal brand has endless rewards, because that can put our families, that can put ourselves, that can put everything in such a beautiful scenario, versus a risk of people laughing at me. And that would not even happen. Once you start intentionally building it, no one cares. In fact, because everyone is a creator today, that market is established. We're done and dusted from that world. And the 4th segment would be the next action step that you can take today to start living intentionally and actually become recession proof, right? And for this, my core intention would be that first, we get started tomorrow. If not tomorrow, by 1st April, because the beauty is we're starting a new financial year. And what better day for a Shubh Muhurat to say कि यार एक नया पूरा का पूरा इनकम सोर्स बिल्डिंग के लिए आज तक हमने 20, 25, 30, 35 साल लगाए हैं जिस चीज को पढ़ाई करके जॉब करने में, उसके अलावा we can ideally build something truly different which can actually make me recession proof. तो उस पे हम काम करेंगे. And the second intention would be calendar year खत्म होते, which means 31st December. Wherever you're spending your new year, whoever you're spending up with, the idea should be that people should know you, that you should be the most popular person in the room. Now, I'm sure you might not be willing for that, but think about it. If you're the most popular person, it's because of your personality, your views, what you think. And it also means that you would have a lot of money coming in, and that's why only everyone knows about you. And you would not love that glamour and validation, right? So there's a lot of upsides. There would be some downsides as well. We'll speak about everything and cover everything for you in the most informed way. Cool? Let's go. Now, when we speak about risks, there are 3 risks that we need to be thoughtful about. Number 1, wars. Number 2, the cost of inaction, the invisible cost. And the 3rd is the risk of losing ourselves. Let's speak about them individually. Number 1, war. See, the world operates on oil. The problem with the wars is it's not between 2 nations. The oil supply of the world has been stuck. In fact, Iran recently said there is another chokehold point and they could restrict that. Just imagine what could happen. The countries have already started opening up reserves. The country has already started rationing the petrols to the consumers. The countries have already started to ensure that they do not export. So many things are happening already. We would not want to be stuck in the crosshairs of the world wars going into the world, right? And as I said, from Larry Finks to JP Morgan's, from the biggest of the biggest folks in the world, they're already scared. They're already managing things by themselves. You recently saw gold, 30% down in a couple of weeks? Gold was supposed to be safe haven, not operate like this, not operate like a random stock. So you already see the world shifting. You already see the chaos that's out there, right? Number 2 is about invisible cost, or let's say the cost of inaction. I would want you to think it from this POV. Think about this. Advertising is a big industry, and advertising was never free. Since the born of humankind, since the humankind has ever existed, advertising was never free. For the first time ever in the world, we've come to a stage, we've come to a reality wherein Instagram tells you that, hey, here's the loudspeaker, you can speak out to millions of people directly without spending money. You don't need to spend ads on, I don't know, newspaper or the billboards or anywhere else. You can do it for literally free. Now, it acts as a lever, and the beauty of levers is, although we might say that it's a positive sum game in this capitalistic world, that's true, but at the same time, it's also a negative sum game in the sense that if you would not use that free lever, someone else would, and someone else would create an opportunity for them, essentially costing you something. And I'll give you examples of this. Think about your junior who got access to give a TED talk and who was invited on some of the best stages just because he can pull up crowd, right? Why not? Second, think about let's say a company CEO. I think some leadership position, a chairman or something in HDFC. There was a transition, and a person who was brought into the picture 2 days ago is the person who can stabilize share price, because of which the market would gain confidence. Or third, just think about if you're running a business, you might be spending, for a fact, all the funding dollars, 40 to 50% of them goes to Google and Facebook to acquire customers. That's the biggest pain point for any business. Imagine a business, someone who's pulling all inbound leads. Someone like Nish here. We've all heard about her. What a game, right? What a freaking game. Now, think about it. If you are not playing either of these three games, if you're not invited on these stages because you can fill the auditorium, if you're not invited as a company CEO of such a big public company because you can stabilize the shares, or if you're not able to acquire customers for free and spending millions of dollars. I am someone who spent 1.5-2 crores in advertisements across 6 months in a bootstrap business to acquire customers 2-3 years ago. So I know the pain, right? Think about how much you're putting online just by not taking an action. And why would you not want to take that action? And you're already looking at people and thinking, yaar ye kyun kar raha hai? Main bhi to kar sakta hu. To karna hai na dost. Why do wait? And which brings us to the third risk, which is about losing yourself. See, I work in this business and I speak to global citizens, people who make more than a crore already a year in. They're still not satisfied. They're still not chasing the passion. Like, tell me truthfully, are you doing what you really thought in the school ki main bade hoke ye karunga? Is that truly you? Are you really following your passion, whatever that might be? Most probably no. And even if you are you truly happy? Are you able to spend time with your friends and family the way you want? Are you able to do work passively in a way that you can retire, and so that the active income or the active expenses could be covered by passive income? All those things are still a far-fetched thing, right? And that's what we need to bridge, because I don't want you to have the same regret of the deads that, hey, I didn't live truly. I didn't do what I really love. Why not take an action and simply change that course of how a human, or let's say most of the people, so to say, in Matrix, are expected to die on a hill? Let's take that narrative in hand and change that. That's going to be the goal. Well, I hope now you understand the risks. Moving on to the opportunity. There are two things I want to speak about. Number one, apart from all the risks that we've understood, the best thing is we are living in the best time possible, and let me explain that. And this answers directly to the question that, hey, is in the market saturated? Trust me, you're in for a ride. You're going to love this thing. Understand what's happening. And again, think about you yourself as a consumer, and then we'll think from a producer's front. Tell me honestly, aren't you already tired of looking young influencers, of looking those young 20-year-olds telling you how to invest millions of rupees when they have not even earned thousands of? Are you not tired of those uninformed opinions that anyone can hold a camera and record a video and suddenly a lot of people can listen to them? अंदर से कुछ होता है ना कि ऐसा क्यों, क्या, I want to course correct, I want to do right. तो दोस्त समझो, ये दुनिया ना बदलने वाली है, क्योंकि जैसे आप tired हो ना, a lot of people are tired like that. Which brings us to the point that the market is finally set. 5 years ago, the market was very different. No one knew the rules. Demand supply set नहीं था, कुछ भी नहीं था. Demand is saturated, supply is consistently growing, which means there is no first mover advantage. Every advantage such is killed. The only advantage that is left in the market right now is if you are an expert, if you know your category, if you spent enough years in your market, if you are an expert in your category, and if the only problem is you don't know how to package yourself in front of camera, that's fine, because you'll see a lot of these big influencers gonna go down underground. They're gonna vanish. There's gonna be a complete overhaul of the system. और बहुत सारे experts का rise होने वाला है, जिसमें से एक आप हो सकते हो. तो कहते हैं ना कि best time was 5 years ago, the next best time is today. That's exactly true for today, and that's why this financial year becomes a great vision. I think had you asked me this on 1st January, I would have said that was the best time. But again, the next best time is today, because why not? You still have 9 months in this year. We've helped people go to 1 million followers in 3 months as well. So the opportunity is there. What do we make out of it? That depends upon us, right? Now that's the first thing. The second thing is about asset. See, all of us would want to create some kind of a legacy asset for our children, for our parents, for everyone, to leave something behind, right? Now, when you look at any other asset in the world, I spoke about gold. You already know what's happening with real estate. Had you at least had a real estate in Iran and whatnot, or Israel or something like that. You all know what's happening with Bitcoin and everything. So everything is sort of unstable at the moment, right? You might be a great investor in whatnot. That's not the point. But the point is, now the idea is, if you if you have ambitions to become a global citizen, to travel, to be wherever you want and everything, so you'd want to ideally pass on a digital legacy as well in a way. And there is no better legacy than attention. In this attention economy, if you can build a page with million, 10 million, 20 million followers, subscribers, whatever, your kids and their grandkids can eat forever if they can just continue that legacy. So, and in fact, let me put that in perspective. You've heard of Ranveer Alabadia? Now, I'm sure by this time you already know that how podcasting industry works. It's a proper media platform, and there are a lot of guests who would pay you to be on the podcast, apart from the brands and whatnot. From what I understand, Ranveer Alabadia should be charging somewhere close to 30 to 40 lakhs from one single guest. I'm not saying he charges from all the guests and that's right or wrong or whatever, that's how the market works. But he charges somewhere between 30-40 lakhs if you would want to go and interview with him tomorrow. Of course, there would be a vet checking and whatnot. But think about this, 30-40 lakhs from one podcast. If he's able to find 4 such people in a month who are right, who can pay that money, and around 50-60 lakhs made from brand deals, that's close to 4 crores. Think about how much money you have in the bank account and think about where can we reach. I'm not saying that's going to happen today, but think about the risk reward. Once again, that's how smart people take decisions. That's where the opportunities. Some of the Instagram influencers that you see, they take 50 lakh rupee for a 30-second reel. 30-second reel, 50 lakh rupees. They get invited on global stages. They get invited by governments to honor them, to actually spread tourism. Imagine being invited by I don't know, Narendra Modi ji to give youth some kind of a gyan. Recently he shared an influencer page. But anyways, okay, I think we got deviated a bit. But the idea is, it's a great asset and there's a lot of opportunity. There are influencers who've got their entire families into the game and they're making 2, 4, 5, 7 crores a month. So the money is endless. And money not standalone, not in shadows, but in the public world, which also gives you so many opportunities. Who would not want to be not on TEDx but on TED Talks? Who would not want to be on world global forums? Who would not want to host cans or be there, I don't know, as a model, as an actor or whatever? The idea is, we have a talent and we got to be able to put it out there. That's the opportunity. There is a lot of money. Time is right. What else are you waiting for? Now I get it. By this time, you're already thinking that, okay, Shivansh, but I have a lot of questions on how to move. So well, let's bust them each one by one. First of all, the hardest question, the pain in the ass, which is, लोग क्या कहेंगे? भाई देखो, लोगों का तो काम है कहना, हम सबको ये बात पता है. We only need to think about what matters more. Creating a recession-proof environment for my family or getting 4 people to think about me, which they don't even know because the market is set. It might be वो चारों लोग भी content ही बना रहे हैं और उसमें succeed नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, आपको देख के शायद खुश हो जाएंगे कोई कर पाया. Number 2, but I don't know. I don't know how to move forward. कैसे करें? See, I'm assuming if you're watching this, if you fall in the category of what I spoke about, you already should have enough money that you can spend. So Naval Ravikant says this, right? Spend money to save time. Figure out what's your hourly rate, figure out what you can make, and then figure out how much can you spend. Anything, अगर आपका 1 घंटे का रेट 10,000 रुपए है, if your hourly rate is 10,000 bucks, anything less than that, outsource that. There are so many people in this country that you can outsource this work to, or who can work with you, who can help you, who you can hire to do that. What's next? What are some more limiting beliefs? I don't know my category. No one knows. No one knows unless you start. Unless you start creating videos. I'm a camera shy person. Tell me, if you get a TED Talk invite today, would you not speak? Would you say, oh no dude, camera आ गया मैं नहीं कर सकता? या फिर I don't know, आपको मोदी जी अवार्ड दे रहे हैं, नहीं लेने जाना है, नहीं और कैमरा पे दिखने वाले हैं. So none of us would create that scenario, right? When you would be thrown in a public stance, अगर आपकी शादी है, वेडिंग फोटोग्राफर आपको रिकॉर्ड, नहीं यार मैं कैमरा shy. You would not do that. So we're not camera shy. We're just not prepared enough, and that's fine because again, it's the Gen Zs who are born with cameras. We were not. You were not, and I get it, dude. It's fine. It's fine to say that I'm good with public, I'm not good on camera. And hence, one of the things we tell people was not supposed to be a part of this video, but camera में देख के बात ही मत करो यार. Camera, you should be living your life to the truest self, and camera should be recording you. That's the biggest thing people make as mistakes. If you as an expert would get a script, sit down, because that's what the world has told you, do those hashtags, figure out what time should I post and what not. Those are bullshitty questions. And you should never read a script. You should speak from your heart. I'm not using a script right now. I have this pain point and I wanted to share it with you. So go out, live your life. Do those meetings, live your life the way you have when you walk through conferences, when you walk through your meeting rooms, when you interact with your spouses. Record that shit when you're in your flow state. That's the key game, right? And any other limiting beliefs of I have so many interests, how do I do that, what not? As I said, we gotta start somewhere. Unless we start, there is nothing. वो कहते हैं ना कि एक्शन लेना शुरू करना पड़ता है, एक आइडेंटिटी बनानी शुरू करनी पड़ती है, तो अपने आप रिजल्ट आता है. पहले दिन से कुछ नहीं होने वाले, पहले दिन से पता किसी को नहीं होता. None of the billion-dollar founders knew where they're gonna be at today, right? So with this, all I want to conclude for you is, now you understand the risks, the opportunity, that the limiting beliefs, the answers to some of them. The immediate action I want you to take is figure out first, do you have someone in your family or friends who you can trust, who is great at this? Not not at building content creators or running a digital media or a social media agency. That's not what you'll be looking at. You look at a growth partner who understands the world of personal brands. If you can find them, awesome. If you're not, try to look at the market, someone who you can trust. If you're watching till here and you would be intrigued to work with this, right? I'll attach a form in the YouTube video. If you fill the form and if you're qualified, because we can't do calls with everyone, I think a few people I'll ask my head of content to directly patch up and have 15-minute calls to help you understand how can you take actions, what should be your first step, whatever question you might have. And then by the end of it, if you also feel that, okay, the kind of way we work you'd want to incorporate and get on board, it's your choice. But the idea is, please, that's all I would say. Create content. Do not let your family suffer and live up to your truest potential. Do not let yourself lose you. Cheers.